Covenant Amillennialism with a partial-preterist outlook. This is Covenant Amillennialism, the classic view from Reformation times, united with a partial-preterist outlook concerning the Great Tribulation. Let's take a look at that view. Covenant Amillennialism with a partial preterist outlook pertaining to the Great Tribulation. Here's my illustration, and like the others, this is available at my resource page. You can click over there on the link in my channel and use these illustrations for yourself if you like. So again, this is a representation of Covenant Amillennialism. So the spheres do not represent dispensations, and the different colors don't represent different peoples of God necessarily. No, what we have here is just the representation of different phases that the one people has gone through in her history. So to your left you have the green arrow, the creation, and the fall occurred. And at that point, you have the formation of the church in this view. Adam would be considered the first member of the church. And the church progressed then through these early times, and until we get to a point when God called out Abraham. And his purpose from that point then was going to be to work through Abraham and his descendants, and on the basis of faith and a covenant promise he made to Abraham. And so really the church went through a change at that point, a transformation. The nature of what constitutes the church went through a change at that point, and it became really what was to be the nation of Israel. And so the church then continued progressing through history during the brown sphere in the middle there, until we get up to the time that Christ comes, and we have another change. We enter into the kingdom age at that point, the Christian church. It would be the kingdom age, a spiritual kingdom, spiritual fulfillments of the promises. And that change then would have occurred to the amillennialists that give the best defense of their position that I've read. They would place the start of this kingdom in Acts 2, when believers received regeneration and entered into a new covenant relationship to God. That would be the start of this spiritual kingdom age. So the church then went through another transformation. Then at that point, it was no longer a nation of Israel, but really it became both Jewish and Gentile believers in Christ who were regenerated. And now you'll notice the red area there is a very brief area that corresponds with the close of the brown sphere. This represents the partial preterist view on the Great Tribulation. They believe the Great Tribulation of prophecy was fulfilled in the events at AD 70 and the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple. And this is a contradiction because it has the Great Tribulation occurring 40 or so years into the kingdom age. The Great Tribulation occurs before the kingdom age. This is found in Daniel 2, Daniel 7, Daniel 9, Daniel 12, the Olivet Discourse. It's found in Revelation 20. It's found in Zechariah 13 and 14. It's found in Jeremiah 30 and 31. And it's found elsewhere. So The Great Tribulation doesn't happen 40 years after the kingdom begins, folks. Okay? You can't have the kingdom beginning in AD 30 and then have the Great Tribulation at AD 70. It doesn't work. But they don't care. This is their view. So they have the Great Tribulation occurring during the kingdom, and to an entity that's no longer Israel at that point, but so be it. And then here we are in the church age today. The Great Tribulation is behind us. As far as what the kingdom age is supposed to accomplish, this is an issue of debate within the party. You would have to talk to the individual amillennialists to get their understanding on that. And then the close of this current spiritual kingdom age we're in would be the time that the Lord returns from heaven, the parousia, His coming, His presence once again. The parousia that occurs at the close of this present church age, this present kingdom age, I should say, spiritual kingdom. And then at that point, when the Lord does return, there will be a single universal resurrection event for all men for judgment, and then the conflagration and the new heavens and new earth. Now, what's interesting about this view is that, being partial preterist, they believe that a coming of the Lord occurred at AD 70, a coming of the Lord in judgment, which would answer, they feel, anytime we encounter imminency in the New Testament. They would say, oh, well, that expectation there was fulfilled at AD 70. While at the same time they do believe in the future there will be a real coming of the Lord from heaven back to earth, and a real resurrection and final judgment and that sort of thing. So they feel that they are still orthodox enough in certain things, still retaining this belief in the return of the Lord from heaven. And it's important they still hold that instead of a full preterist view, which I'll get into in a different video. But this view then has a coming of the Lord in judgment that was at AD 70 and fulfilled any imminency passages in the New Testament, but also a true coming of the Lord, return from heaven at the close of this current spiritual kingdom age. And there you go, a look at Covenant Amillennialism with a partial preterist outlook. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful. Please subscribe to my channel and share this video with friends that are interested in eschatology. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.